What's up guys, Flux here. Last week I talked about Bertie's journey through season 2 and how getting into therapy has helped her with her perma anxiety. I didn't mean to split the season into 2 reviews, but I really wanted to make a second video dedicated to Tuca's journey throughout the season as well. More specifically, I wanted to talk about the character Kara because the process of slowly realizing what kind of person she is really stuck a nerve with me, and I thought it'd be interesting to talk about. The first half of the season 2 review is on screen. If you guys haven't seen it already, I definitely watched that one first, but without further ado, let's just break right into it. Before we get to Kara, let's talk about where Tuca is mentally. In the first episode of season 2, Bird Mechanics, Tuca wants to find love again, so she hosts a sex buzz competition for strangers to compete with her affection. I promise this is a serious video. After a bunch of Tuca-related hijinks, she settles on this bird mechanic, funnily enough, with a super soothing voice. I wish she was in more episodes. The bus they're riding on catches a flat, which prompts the unnamed bird mechanic to work her magic. The two finally get a moment to speak by themselves and share an intimate kiss. Before they can get any further though, Speckle calls Tuca when Bertie has a panic attack on their date, and Tuca's new bird friend seems skeptical about the circumstances.
Why do you need to go? Her fella's there, right? She sounds needy.
Nuh-uh. I'm the clingy, codependent one. Bertie's the sweetest.
It's an interesting flip from last season, where the main conflict was Tuca not allowing herself to distance from Bertie and have her own life. It got so toxic to the point where when Tuca actually needed medical assistance from her friend, she was too scared to speak out of fear of burdening her any further. The mechanic bird takes off, which prompts Tuca to yell her emotions into a cup, which I might gotta steal. It sounds kinda fun. But we'll put a pin in that for now. Kara herself joins the cast in episode 4, Nighttime Friend. When Tuca can't sleep at night and goes to visit her aunt in the hospital, Kara's the nurse on duty. Kara chides Tuca for slipping her auntie nightcaps while she's sick, but the two have a pleasant back and forth about how Tuca only comes in the depths of night. After a couple of nice interactions with the two hanging out in the baby ward, getting a bite to eat, and having a good night on the town, Tuca finally manages to fall asleep with a lullaby from her new friend Kara.
Nighttime's only a dark shade of blue, and pretty soon, Bertie, bright blues will shine through. So sleep, little bluebird, sleepity bluebird, until that cool hue.
It seems like a happy ending considering Tuca had been avoiding sleeping the entire episode, so it's very fitting that her new potential courtship would be the thing that gets her comfortable enough to snooze. Side note, but the music in this episode is awesome. There's this really ethereal track that plays while Tuca roams around the city, and I couldn't find a name for it in the end credits. I'll leave a link to it in the description, but it was a very nice addition. In the following episode, Vibe Check, some saucy flirting back and forth reveals that Kara is on the market for some WLW type love. Tuca and Bertie workshop what to say to get Tuca in the doorway for romance, but once the text gets sent, we get radio silence from Kara. Keep in mind, Kara's been pretty reasonable up to this point. She's sarcastic, soft-spoken. Of course, she had her reservations about Tuca sneaking alcohol to someone under her care, but she seems like a good match for Tuca's wilder personality. Hell, I was a fan of her too. Tuca takes the Michael Scott method and goes to search for her situationship, only to find her at a party with her phone, sending messages on it, but not to Tuca. While yes, it does seem like Kara's the guilty party for ignoring Tuca's text, I'll play devil's advocate just this one time and say, A, they're not officially in a relationship, so it's not like Kara's obligated to respond. B, Tuca is and has been stalking Kara outside of their textual conversations, so in finding Kara at this party, she may be overstepping her boundaries. And C, as a D&D warrior myself, I can relate to the feeling of not wanting to be glued to my phone and always receptive to calls and texts from people. But I will say, it would make me a little suspicious if quick responses and texts back turned to immediate left undelivered with no explanation. The two talk at the bar briefly, with Kara making it pretty clear that Tuca is just one of her many friends. But before Tuca has the time to process her emotions, Kara follows her out and... It's this catch and release style of romance that concerns me. Kara doesn't respond to Tuca's messages and ditches her immediately after introducing Tuca to her many friends. Then hops right back into friendly mode like she hasn't been giving the toucan the silent treatment. It's like she creates this reward cycle to keep people begging for more. By ignoring her partner for long stints of time, then kissing and making up right after, it traps people like Tuca in an endless hunt for affection, desperate for when the next hit of love adrenaline will pump through. A few episodes later and we get Sleepovers, our first real look into Kara and how she functions with Tuca. The two are officially going steady and Tuca asks some basic relationship questions.
I was with someone for a while. It ended a few months ago, and she wouldn't have liked this place. She kind of always played the victim.
Now entry level, this is a questionable thing to reveal, especially in a talking phase. But we don't know the full context of their relationship. Sometimes there are people in your life whose miserable nature rubs off on you in the wrong way. It's forgivable, I guess. The two continue their date for a while, actually. They spend an entire 24 hours together, with Tuca trying to pull off occasionally, but Kara pulls her right back into her grasp. Even when Tuca tries to pick up her phone and respond to Bertie, Kara insists she puts her phone away, but she's well within her rights to take whatever call she needs. We're getting a little odd now. Eventually, Tuca finally manages to find her phone in the fridge of all places and touches base with Bertie. The two plan on going to a concert later that evening, which drums up some concern between our two lovebirds.
I'll see you later, okay?
Fine.
It's cool that I'm going to this show with Bertie, right?
You already said yes, so what does it matter?
What's the big deal? We can hang out tomorrow.
This is my last free night. I'm busy at work for the next week.
But we just spent the whole weekend together. Do you expect me to work around your schedule?
I mean, why not? You don't have a job.
Ouch. And so here comes one of the first red flags, being unwilling to compromise. Let me be clear, this is a totally normal conversation. While it's easy to be an outsider and say, they hung out all weekend, why is Kara being so clingy already? I wouldn't call that behavior a red flag necessarily because, of course, you want to hang out with someone you get along really well with. It's hard to enjoy and live in the moment when the two go out on the next thing and then they go on to the next thing and etc, etc. The problem here is not only was Kara being unnecessarily rude out of nowhere without expressing her feelings in a concise way, that being that she wants to hang out with Tuca more, but she immediately went on the defensive, saying things like, well, you already made the decision without consulting me, or coming for Tuca being unemployed. And instead of apologizing for that wildness, Kara chose to double down on not being able to change her schedule.
I just mean, I work long hours, helping people. Sorry if my schedule is inconvenient for you, but I can't change it.
Maybe that's true, she is a nurse after all, so I'm sure her schedule is erratic. But she presents these facts with no regard for Tuca's emotions. After Bertie offers to give the tickets to Tuca and Kara so they can have a fun night, we dip into red flag number 2, not being able to apologize. Kara says things like, that was weird before, and I don't want things to be weird between us. It recontextualizes her previous statement about her ex always playing the victim when the reality of the matter is Kara is unwilling to see herself in the wrong.
See? You gotta listen to me. I'm always right.
More often than not, if a person is telling you that everyone else is the problem, they're usually the main culprit unable to take responsibility for their own actions. She gives Tuca a little pin as an apology, which is another red flag, love bombing your partner with physical items, which we'll get more into later. And that's supposed to clear the air between the two, but unsurprisingly, it doesn't. Tuca's left with a flurry of emotions, with the animation doing such a perfect job of depicting that. That little flicker between being content with getting affection and wanting to expect better treatment from her partner is so real, dude. It's the little things this show does that proves how mature and relatable the writing is. Skipping forward in time a bit, and Tuca has been in Kara's place for weeks on end with no way to contact her. Bertie, with the help of her therapist, decides that the best way to check in on Tuca is to invite her and Kara on an outing. And while Kara ends up declining the offer and Tuca's response is a bit more corporate than usual, the two and Speckle plan a fun day at the carnival. Tuca shows up surprisingly on time and wearing pants? It's a small detail, but Tuca's quite literally covering up her true self just to look respectable to Kara. Her mannerisms seem almost robotic when she reveals herself at the fair.
Look at all those pins. Cute.
Yes, they're from Kara. She gives me a pin every time we have a disagreement.
Yeah, what's number 3 on the red flag list? Right. I feel like this is the most subtle display of Kara's character, as we see the number of pins on Tuca's bag skyrocket from one episode to the next. Every pin represents a moment where there should have been an apology, but a gift was given instead. It's basically a way to buy silence and reject taking the blame. You can't complain about getting stabbed in the back when they give you a new shiny band-aid, huh? Bertie and Tuca, oh wait, no, that doesn't sound right, sorry. Tuca and Bertie have an awkward time catching up, with the toucan sounding and looking way more formal than she ever has before. And right when it seems like she's loosening up and having fun, you'll never guess who pops up.
Room for one more?
Kara finally gets introduced to Bertie and Speckle, and it's really messy. Like, I'm not there and I'm getting secondhand embarrassment from how visually and verbally standoffish Kara's being.
You must be Bertie.
Oh, it's so nice to finally meet you.
Carnival dog?
No, thank you. I'm a nurse, so, we try to only eat real food.
The three girls try their hand in a carnival game complete with more pins, probably from an argument about not wanting to meet Tuca's friends. More toxicity from Kara involving competition.
You don't think I can take her?
I didn't mean that.
Yeah, I know. I'm joking. I know I can take her.
And more digs at Tuca's expense.
Tuca, you are so offbeat.
I just noticed this while editing, but Kara won't even hold Tuca's hand in public. Like, I'm actually so sad for her. Considering the season up to this point has been expanding more on Tuca's character and showing her mellowing out as she's gotten older and more mature, it's heartbreaking to see her not getting the respect that she deserves. Even Speckle, the best boy ever, knows that Kara isn't the best partner.
Oh, she fully sucks.
Right!
Bertie and Speckle managed to split the two apart so that she can talk to Tuca one-on-one, and we can see how people in the situation think when faced with the possibility that their partner isn't treating them well. Bertie asks some very good questions like, are your changes something that you wanted for yourself or Kara wanted for you? Or is Kara meeting you halfway by making changes of her own? Tuca brings up Bertie's own words from a couple episodes back, that a relationship involves compromise and change, which on a basic level is correct, but she'd be wrong to assume that all change is good change or that change needs to happen. What I mean is, a compromise only works if both parties involved are content with the end result. If Tuca feels like she has to suppress parts of her personality or way of living just to keep her partner satisfied, that's not a compromise, that's a coping mechanism. You're essentially kicking the can down the road because these are not things that change overnight. These are personality quirks acquired over decades of just being alive. It gives way for that person to walk all over you if you allow them to change facets of your personality. And by the end, you'll be a husk of who you are and never enough for what the other person wants you to be. After getting ditched on the Ferris wheel and getting a nice wake-up call from the resident freak show,
You're a dirty, wild, and sexy bird, blottoed or not. She should be showing you off and having a threesome with us right now.
anyway, we get treated to this beautiful interpretive dance that details their relationship with scary accuracy. Kara drew in Tuca with her sarcasm and her warmness, but when Tuca tried to bring in her own personality, Kara pushed her away in favor of behaving just like her. Eventually, Tuca becomes just an accessory that Kara can flaunt around, complete with her own charm collection of past transgressions and messy arguments. Kara doesn't want a partner, she wants a mirror that only reflects the parts of herself she can tolerate with disdain. Because ultimately, people like her push their insecurities outward in the hopes that one day, that pain in themselves will subside, but it never fades away. It isn't until Bertie, an outsider with a pair of fresh eyes, comes out and makes Tuca feel large in herself again. Two bodies moving in tandem, yet still giving each other the space and freedom that they require. It's an incredible sequence. Watch the show for yourself. I love every second of it. Tuca finally asserts herself after being met with excuse upon excuse as to why Kara was so rude at the carnival. Surprisingly, Kara, despite bringing up her exes again and seemingly being uncomfortable with making change in her life, vows that Tuca means a lot to her and thanks her for being honest. Notice anything missing there? Maybe an acknowledgement that she's been acting weird, maybe an actual thing that Kara would be willing to do for Tuca besides love bombing her with more pins and an invitation to move in with her. Maybe the words "I'm sorry" at any point in this conversation, or this relationship for that matter. But yeah, Kara says she'll call Tuca after work. So Tuca waits and waits and waits some more. Yeah, I'm sure you can see where this is going. It's depressing because when I was watching this episode for the first time, I was shocked that Kara was being semi-understanding with Tuca. I mean, at this point we're applauding the bare minimum, but it was something to grab onto. As humans, or birds in this case, we don't want to give up on people. We don't want to assume the worst of people we love and care for. I'm sure even with how tumultuous their relationship was, it can't be easy for Tuca to even consider ending it. We spend the whole season watching Tuca crush and eventually fall in love with this person who matched her aesthetic and vibe so perfectly. Yet behind closed doors, she found herself loving the idea of Kara more than the person she was turning into, making excuses for her time and time again, pushing away the people closest to her, begging, pleading for a crumb of empathy. But that's the trap. In a healthy relationship, you shouldn't be starving for crumbs. You should be sitting at the table. As hard as it might be to break away from someone like this, you have to be able to recognize the signs that they're not right for you. It's not textbook abuse in the physical sense, but it's a lack of empathy. It's an unwillingness to compromise or try new things. It's love bombing and tearing your partner away from their circle so that no one picks up on your toxicity. Before long, you find yourself making the same excuses for them again and again. This is hitting too close to home. Let's just wrap this video up before I tear up. In the final episode, The Flood, wouldn't you believe it? A flood takes over Birdtown and leaves Tuca and Bertie marooned at sea. Miraculously, they make it over to Kara's house, where they find her on a medical boat, and she's just having fun. Seems awfully familiar, doesn't it? Getting a crazy sense of deja vu right now, actually.
Why aren't you talking to me? Just give me one word. One word.
And that's it. All those stirred emotions, all the blood, sweat, and tears funneled into this relationship, and that's the send-off Tuca gets. A shrug. Not even a word. Ironically enough, despite being on a medical boat with a job saving lives every day, Kara couldn't muster the strength to say one single word to the person that she would never want to hurt. The ultimate red flag. Putting on a performative front in public, but being unable to keep up that same charade of showing love to your partner behind closed doors. Of course, this devastates Tuca. It can't feel good to be tossed aside like this, even if the warning signs were a mile away and a mile long. But thanks to Bertie, Tuca collects herself. She comes to terms with the fact that the relationship wasn't meant to be, not because of an error that she made, but simply because the two didn't match up. Kara still sucks though. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully this video wasn't too serious. Initially the script was just me talking about how good the second season was, but this side plot with Tuca and Kara just stirred me up that I had to give it its own video. There's so many examples of abusers and relationships in the media, so I feel like audiences can identify a bad person when they see one. But in this review, I wanted to highlight that some of those warning signs can be just as present in non-conventional relationships as well. I hope this video was insightful. To anyone who's in these type of relationships, get out, bro, please. You deserve better than Kara. Know your worth. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this two-parter on season 2. Season 3, I don't know if you're gonna be able to outmatch this because overall, I didn't give my notes on the entire season, but I'm leaning towards calling it like a 10, like a strong 9 to a 10. This season was honestly perfect. But yeah, that's it. This video is long enough. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.